Dow briefly crossing the 23,000 mark for the first time ever yesterday. That was an intraday high for the Dow. President Trump making note of the big milestone.
I just want to make an initial comment that the stock market just hit an all-time record high. It broke for the first time ever 23,000. So we're very happy about that.
And of course, the question now, will earnings vault the blue chip index past 23,000 at the close today? Let's bring in Chief Market Strategist Art Hogan with Wunderlich Securities. Hey, Art, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
You know, I know that you've been on the street for years, but do you still love these 23,000 days? I mean, it's hard not to kind of smile when you see these numbers and how well the markets have been doing.
Yeah, it really is a lot of fun. I think the great part about that is sometimes that brings that news that you and I talk about every day, you know, financial news, out to Main Street a little bit more, and people might notice that on Saturday when they pick up their paper or turn on the TV. So, you know, it's a great headline, but it also reminds us that this market's up 16% on a year-to-date basis. We're doing very well, both in terms of earnings growth and economic growth. So I think, you know, getting these round numbers is always very exciting, but it also is an opportunity to sort of have a branding event for financial news.
I mean, you look at the Dow since the election, up 25%. Since the, you know, I mean, obviously this, like you mentioned, 16% year to date. I mean, all of these numbers feel good, but then, of course, people start to talk about correction. You've got doomsdayers coming on, even on Fox News and Fox Business, saying, I'm in cash, you know, watch out, we're gonna fall. I mean, what do you say when you hear that kind of noise?
Well, it's, you know, obviously it's very difficult to time this market, and I think those doomsayers have been saying the same thing for the last 7 or 8 years, and that's okay. I mean, being cautious is fine, and understanding that we have 3 or 5% pullbacks normally, you know, a couple, 3 times a year. It just hasn't happened this year, so I think that makes people even more nervous. The volatility's been very low. The biggest drawdown we've seen is 3% in the S&P 500 this year. We had 2 1.5% drawdown days in August, but other than that, it's just been this slow and steady climb higher. And I think that success just breeds some insecurity in investors, and that'll continue to perpetuate itself. Those same investors aren't going to feel any more comfortable when you have that 5% drawdown, and they're not going to rush in with the cash on the sidelines and get back in this market. So I think doomsayers, you know, the haters are always going to hate.
Well, let's talk really quick about what's going to happen with the Fed chair. Certainly monetary policy and interest rates affects everything, whether or not our viewers are in the stock market, in particular mortgage rates, credit card debt, things like that. There are 5 top candidates now for the Fed. President Trump is interviewing all of them. He's not really picked a favorite, but of the names that you've seen floated about, who do you like for the next Fed chair?
Well, it's interesting. I think Janet Yellen's probably the best next chair, and she's probably, you know, not in the top 3 in terms of the way things are stacking up with the odds makers right now. I think Kevin Warsh is probably the favorite in terms of the odds makers, but I think he's probably the worst for the job, only in so much as you'd have a lot of uncertainty. I think he's the most disruptive, and what we need right now is continuity. So I think if you think about continuity and the ability to think about deregulation, Powell jumps to the lead. So for my money, you know, the president gets to make a change, put his fingerprints on this, but it's somebody different, but it's going to be somebody that's not disruptive.
Yeah, interesting. That's interesting you say Janet Yellen. I'm wondering what Gary Cohn's role is well going to be going forward. Art Hogan, it was great to have you on. We'll see. Today should be a nice day to celebrate.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Art.